So as I'm sure you all have heard right now, but the news is about a week old. The Raiders are not going to extend any of the 3 players from the 2019 draft. Ferrell, Abram, Jacobs. No extension.
Mm-mm.
They're still going to all be on the team this season, and I'm glad they are. Jacobs at $2 million, steal. Johnathan Abrams as a tackling machine in the box, great. And Ferrell as just kind of a second string rotational D lineman is fine. Fine. But we're not giving these dudes $8 million. No.
I wouldn't give him $8 million total.
And so this kind of got me thinking. So Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler, when they came in, they obviously were going to make changes, right? And again, it's extremely unique that you're overhauling a coaching staff after a 10-win playoff season. It almost never happens, right? Very, very rare. Normally when you overhaul a coaching staff and a GM, it's because the team was terrible, you have the 3rd overall pick, and you're starting over, you're rebuilding. Not the case with the Raiders. 10-win team, playoffs, franchise quarterback, 4 Pro Bowlers, great cap situation. You had all your draft picks at the time, brand new stadium, money's flowing in. No wonder McDaniels and Ziegler were like, yeah, let's go here, right?
Mm-hmm.
It still didn't stop Ziegler and McDaniels from doing a lot of cleaning house. And we were talking about it pre-show. Your best
look,
corner?
it just looks like from all the moves done is Ziegler, Champ, and McDaniels just didn't think too highly of this roster.
And so it got me thinking, as what Jon Gruden built, because he had 3 years to build something. What that something is up for debate, but he built something, a thing in the 3 years that he was there before he bounced unceremoniously the way that he did. And it got me thinking with the way that this, specifically this draft, the personnel moves, and specifically the 2019 draft class with no extensions. And we both agree that's exactly what they had to do.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Those 3 got to go for that price point. And it got me thinking, like, what's Gruden's legacy? And it's being chipped away, because right when Gruden right when we were 3-0, 3-2, we're like, this is it. It's finally working. Gruden's got his shit together. He's kind of building the thing that we want. We're all kind of getting behind Gruden. He bounces unceremoniously, and there's some ups and downs last season. We get, we got a winning record most of the season. We fall to 6-7. We all lose our shit. We win 4 games in a row, go to the playoffs, and we're all kind of wondering, all right, what's Gruden's legacy? Over this offseason, the top 10 biggest free agent acquisitions that Gruden brought in, all gone. The 2019 draft class, none of them extended. All the changes that you just brought up happened. And more, the more time that goes on, if I think of like 4 months ago, I would say it was like 60-40. I think a lot of Raiders fans still thought Gruden was onto something and could do something. Now I think we've passed that threshold where Raiders fans, more than half of Raiders fans, are like, Gruden's trash. It was awful. Yeah. It was a waste of time. I think the longer time goes and the more this roster changes, the more people are going to look back. Certain legacies, the further away they are. Like, we looked at like Gruden's legacy before he coached the second time got better with time, right? Yeah. Like we looked back to Gruden's 98, 99, 2000. Like, man, what a time! What an offensive genius! Wow, Gannon to Rice, Gannon to Brown. Like, oh, it was awesome. And the more time left, he became more lore. He became like folklore. He became a legend. The further time got away. Now the inverse is happening. The more time that passes, the worse Jon Gruden's legacy looks, specifically his second go around with the Raiders.
Yeah, I mean, for me, Jon Gruden's legacy is, his emails. But on the field, he's a firework, man. And he builds pieces, he puts pieces together that can't be held together for a long time because of how he gets the pieces in. It's a lot of free agents, a lot of flyers on guys that end up doing a lot better and overplay their contract. I mean, look at the guys especially defensively. Maybe not offensively because when Ruggs left, we really didn't have a better receiver. But here's the deal: when Ruggs left, Renfro stepped up and became a better receiver than Ruggs. Okay, so you have that.
More productive for sure.
Oh, for sure, more productive.
More productive.
All defensively, the guys that stepped in for guys that got hurt or that were underperforming. The backup guys came in and played even better. It wasn't like they came in for a guy that was hurt and just kind of like, glue and gum and sticks putting everything. No, they played better. So it's like, where was his ability to scout these guys and how well they'd actually play during the game? It's like you had them on your team, and because of circumstance, they ended up playing more and they played better than the guy they replaced. It's like, he's a firework, man. He builds these things that pop off really quick. But then we talked about all this depth, and it was the inverse. A lot of the guys that were backups that we thought gave us all this depth should have been starting, and the guys that were starting shouldn't be playing. And it's just rough. It's just rough.
I'm with you when you said that. I think outside looking in, like non-Raiders fans, like not non-Raiders fans that are in the bubble. Right. Other 31 fan bases, just general NFL fans, media. I think they're going to look at Gruden's legacy as the emails and how he got fired. I think that's going to be the first thing that people think of. Right.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Inside the bubble, I think the first thing people will think of is just atrocious personnel decisions, just god awful first round picks, expensive free agents that didn't work. I think that's going to be the first thing. Just all the money spent, the awful, you traded away Khalil Mack, traded away Amari Cooper. We're like, all right, he's starting.
Got nothing for it.
And he got
like long term, at least. Like that's how you build a franchise. Look, guys, I understand that Jacobs made the Pro Bowl, and Abram had over 100 some odd tackles, and Ferrell hasn't shit the bed completely. He still plays a lot on special teams and whatever. I get that.
He sometimes misses the toilet, but he hasn't.
Yeah, right.
Other franchises I look at like, I love to make fun of, the Browns rotating quarterbacks, and I love to make fun of, the Jets never being able to find a coach, and like that's what's fun for us on the outside, like storylines. When you're in the fan base, like you care about what wins and losses are, and with Gruden, it was like he just could not get good players to save his life. Like he just couldn't.
His way of exactly what you said, the resources that he had, given those resources, it's just his way of, he drafted with ego. Yeah. I know the guys. This guy's the guy that I want. I don't care what anyone else says. I don't even care what my own scouts are saying. I want this specific guy. I don't care.
He acquired players the way my wife shops at outlet malls drunk.
Mm-hmm.
Just grabbing the first thing she sees as soon as she walks in. I love it. I have to have it. Bam.
If you ever gone to Yogurtland High, it's like if this shit ends up being like this fucking tall, you're like, God damn. And
I need 9 mounds of M&Ms poured on top of my 7 pounds of frozen yogurt.
Excuse me, do you have any more of these cheesecake bites back there? It's like, sir, the whole thing is like, don't worry about what I got here. Do you have any more?
How about this question? What are the biggest positives that Gruden did in his tenure with the Raiders? What are the good? Because he didn't do everything terrible. Finding Darren Waller.
Yeah, Waller's a big one. Waller's a big one.
Off the practice squad of Ravens. Not only did they identify him, they nabbed him and then signed him to an extension before he got huge. Like they not only knew that they wanted him, they started him and then signed him to a 4-year deal like immediately before he took off. Like he's what, the 17th highest paid tight end or something?
Something like that. I was wondering why they didn't re-sign Cook off of what a great season he had.
Pro Bowl season.
Yeah, and I'm like, this guy's dope.
There we go. That's why.
So like Waller was good. Colton Miller, his first draft pick, ended up being a really good pick. He helped
a lot of good mid-round picks.
Yeah, he helped Derek Carr, Max Crosby, Renfro, like those guys. who knows how involved he was with those Hobbs, like Diablo, who knows how involved he was in the middle rounds.
Mm-hmm.
But, on the field itself, he was able to teach discipline to like guys like Renfro and Waller on running their choice routes, because that's not a specific Gruden thing, and they're not that easy to run. You have to know what you're looking at. So that parts of that is going to be in McDaniel's system. So the continuity that they got and the familiarity that those two guys received working with Carr being able to read pre-snap, I think he's gone through the roof.
Sure.
I think he's regressed mightily. His turnovers he's regressed. In the red zone, he's regressed. I think he regressed a little bit until this last year, checking down too much, because Gruden is like such a risk-averse, safety, take 3 points and be okay with it type of guy.
It's like they're one or the other, right? He's either a check down guy with few turnovers, or he's just bombing these great 20-yard passes constantly and turning the ball over twice a game, right? It was like one or the other, right? You're not going to get the best of both or the worst of both.
And that's the thing. And that leads to Gruden. That's from a product of Gruden's scheme also. Is there's built-in shots down the field, but there's not those like intermediate 15+ yard throws that are built into that scheme, consistently to have Derek Carr be able to have that type of throw, whether it's not like a short check down or a bomb. And that kind of hurt Derek Carr as well.
And we'll also never know what this season would have been if Gruden stayed around for all of it, if he wasn't targeted with those emails, or if he never sent those emails. Like, would we have been better without all of that anarchy, without changing coaches and Rich Bisaccia coming in as a special teams coordinator? Here's a crazy idea. Like, would Henry Ruggs have gotten in trouble if Gruden was still coach? Probably. Probably, but I don't know. Like, maybe not. Would all that craziness is what gave them the kind of team unity and motivation to go on that 4-game win streak late? Or would they have been even better? Would they have been 14-3 with Gruden without having all that trouble and all that upheaval?
Congratulations for making it all the way to the end of our video. If you want Darren Waller to catch 20 touchdown passes next season and for Max Crosby to have 30 sacks, go ahead and subscribe and click the next video.